how to build a crypto portfolio with Bitcoin nearly at all-time highs, and as well as that, what I'll be doing with my current crypto portfolio and the moves I'm going to be making over the next few weeks and months. Not only that, I'm going to explain exactly what's going on with the crypto market right now and show you a few different charts and exciting things that you've probably not seen that you need to know about. So hit the like button. This is going to be a good one. Now guys, right, as we look into the Bitcoin chart right now, we can see Bitcoin sat at $68,500. And this is on Monday, so maybe the price changes tomorrow, but the concept is just the same. And if you're new, you're like, wow, Bitcoin looks like it's been having a pretty good year and I've missed out. I feel, gutted. FOMO. Fair enough, you have missed some good opportunity, but that doesn't mean that there isn't more opportunity to be found, and there is some new areas of the market we should be paying attention to. So, what do we think? Bitcoin goes higher, Bitcoin goes lower right now? Well, first things first, let's jump across to look at coinglass.com. Now, this is a free website. Just go to the top, click on liquidation, go down to liquidation heat map. Now, what you might not be aware of is that Bitcoin and other cryptos, the price is going up and down all the time based on how many people are buying and selling. But lots of the market is driven by leverage trading, okay? So much bigger volumes, meaning you can borrow like 10x against your money to be able to drive forward. Let's, for example, say I use 10x leverage and the price moves against me, it goes down 10%, then I will get liquidated. I'll lose everything. And this is a liquidation heat map. At any given time, the Bitcoin price is moving between zones where people get liquidated. There's market makers out there who are controlling the price in order to soak up as much money in different pockets as they can. And what does this mean for us? Well, it means that it's quite confusing to work out where's Bitcoin moving next, because Bitcoin and other cryptos are being controlled by people who have more information than we do. What does that mean for us as crypto investors? Well, it's going to mean something the average retail investor doesn't like to hear. It means that you cannot be certain where the next move is going to be, whether it's going to be up 20k tomorrow or down 20k tomorrow. And there are a lot of top quality analysts who analyze the markets every single day, who can have ideas and theories on where it's going to go based on various metrics, but can also be wrong. Some of my favorites to follow are Jason Pizzino, who gives great, no BS information on a daily basis on Bitcoin stocks and other bits and pieces, and also Ben Cowan, who I gave a lot of stick to last year because he told everyone the market was going to move lower, but to be fair, does share lots of great information. Now, why have I talked about all these people? Well, because these people probably spend a lot more time looking at these Bitcoin charts and crypto charts than you do, and yet no one knows for sure where it's going. That means, therefore, that the only decisions that we can make in crypto buying and selling is based on the fact that we don't know whether the price goes up or whether the price goes down. And that's why as retail investors, people don't like that. They want to be able to buy in and know for sure it's going to go up, which means when it goes down, they will go running away and crying and blaming other people for their own mistake. However, if you're a crypto grown-up, then you'll understand that all you need to do is zoom out a bit and that the general trajectory right now is up. That doesn't mean that we know whether tomorrow it goes down or up, but overall, because of the liquidity cycles and things like that, crypto is on the up and will continue to be on the up until sometime early 2025. And let's look at Bitcoin during the last cycle. When we were all sat here, we were probably all like, wow, really bullish, Bitcoin's going really well. Suddenly, all of a sudden, Bitcoin goes and pulls back on us 30-odd%. No one was really ready for it. Everyone then thinks that Bitcoin's going to dump lower and lower and lower. And then guess what? Bitcoin the next day wakes up and goes, thank you, and then goes up like 100%. And you can look at endless charts and metrics from El Crypto Prof, who's well worth following on Twitter, by the way, showing you that the crypto bull market has just printed another green band on this indicator and it sells. And usually when we get a good green band, it's going to tell us that we are in a good sized bull market and things are going to get really exciting. But you'll also notice that this is a monthly chart, and after these kind of green bands start, typically there's 1 or 2 or 3 months of indecision. You could see that potentially we could have 3 or 4 months of indecision right now. And now you're like, shut up. Just tell me what coins you got in your portfolio. Relax. I want to bring you to the most important part in a very elaborate way. And lots of people are like, oh, this is too long. I've got loads of other things I need to be doing. This is important, okay? I wouldn't tell you it if it wasn't. If we understand that we can't really time the market perfectly, then the question shouldn't be like, what am I buying? But it should be, how should I buy? It's day one in crypto, okay? I'm looking at this Bitcoin chart. And I'm like, wow, it looks high. It looks like it could go up, but also could go down. Do I know it's going to go up or down? No. Does anyone? Not for sure. But there is one thing we do know. We are still relatively early, and here's proof of that. This is a chart from Benjamin Cowan, which we looked at earlier, showing the kind of volume of people watching YouTube videos. Now, I do think that this is a little bit skewed because the House of Crypto is not on here. And obviously with you now subscribing to the channel, it's getting bigger every single day. You can see the Bitcoin price in the white line versus the number of YouTube views going on. And typically in the last bull market at the top, you will see that there was a ton of retail in the space, but retail is only just waking up to this current bull market. We also now have entry of the ETFs. ETFs are now playing a huge part. So while we are very high in prices, it's because a lot of money's flooded in from ETFs or institutional money, rather than the degen crypto traders like us who are just like sat around at home waiting for the next 10x. And since we know we're early, still very early, there is a very good chance, whilst not guaranteed, that Bitcoin is going to be worth significantly more money than it is right now. That means that I don't know whether it's going to be tomorrow, I don't know whether it's going to be next month, but it's going to happen. And since the Bitcoin price is where most people flood into first when they first get into crypto, you would have to argue that Bitcoin is a good investment and a portion of your portfolio should end up in, guess what? Bitcoin. So let's say I've got $1,000 and I want to build a portfolio based on this $1,000. Bitcoin right now, as you can see, has had a nice pullback of 3 candles, got down around 11 or 12%. Is it a good time to buy Bitcoin right now? Now, typically, many people will tell you to buy a bigger portion of Bitcoin, but I'm not going to do that. Why? Because if you can ignore all my kind of pretty colors and things like that, you will see that Bitcoin on the bottom has already broken beyond previous highs. At the top, you've got the market cap of crypto minus Bitcoin and Ethereum, and you can see that this chart is currently around 60% under its all-time high, which means it is lagging behind. It means that Bitcoin has already seen a good move towards the upside, and the rest of the market is lagging behind. Therefore, we're better off investing more portion into the other cryptos outside of Bitcoin. But I still want some Bitcoin. I'm going to say 10%, which is $100, right? Now, there's 2 things we can do. When a market is moving up like this, we don't want to jump in straight away, day one, okay? We want to kind of calmly wait. You will see that there's a lot of sideways action going on here, and what we can do is we can draw boxes around the sideways action. If we then carry on all the way to the upside and we get another bit of sideways action, you can then stick another sideways box into this zone. Now what do you see happen is very interesting. The price of Bitcoin pushes all the way up, it comes back into this zone, and it creates this wick towards the downside, showing there's lots of people wanting to buy Bitcoin in this zone. Therefore, this would have been a good time to be buying into Bitcoin. Now, bearing in mind Bitcoin at this point has already seen a big shove towards the upside. Maybe I would be more willing to put in something like 50 to 75%, or in this case $75, because we were using $100 for Bitcoin, $75, okay? Based on the fact that I don't know whether Bitcoin carries on like this or just does this, and no one knows. That means if it does get down to my next zone, I've now got another $25 I can buy in here, and my average price paid is much more suitable. At some point, it will bounce in a zone where it's been going sideways for a bit. These are called buy zones. Now, as we also know, once Bitcoin gets moving, Ethereum also gets moving as well. And Ethereum shows you a very similar buy zone developing right. And here we can see the buy zone. Look, buys up. It goes a bit of indecision, buying, selling goes on, big push out. It comes back in, starts to push out again. Okay. That tells us this is a big candle towards the upside, big bullish candle. Okay. And it tells us that lots of people are willing to buy in this area, and if it gets back into this price point again, it means that those same people will want to continue buying in there as well. And if you want to buy or sell the likes of Bitcoin or any other big coin and a large number of other coins that are coming in all the time, then you can do it through Bitunix, link down below in the description. That doesn't require a know your customer or KYC, which means you don't have to put in any of your information. You don't need a VPN, even if you're in the US, and you can all go and sign up to Bitunix, link down below. You'll also get a discount and a bonus if you sign up there, and you'll qualify for future airdrops that are going on the platform. And the more you trade on it, the more you're going to qualify for future airdrops of new tokens that they're launching on the platform. Okay, so on the general trajectory of things, we still think that Ethereum is going to go up. So the key point is how you buy, not what to buy, how you buy. The key is absolutely to not ape all your money in and put in buy orders. Okay, so for example here, I buy myself $50 or $75 of Ethereum. I set my next one down here, $2,900. Is there a chance it gets here again? I don't know. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. If it gets down to here again, I have another $25 to go in. How do I know it's going to get there? I can right click. This is on tradingview.com. I right click, add an alert, and then I go buy Ethereum, $25, whatever it is. Create. if it hits that line, I now get a notification. I'm now not emotional because I'm happy that maybe the price has got down. Instead of panic selling like everyone else, I'm now happy the price has got to there. And now I've got an opportunity to buy, because the smart money is buying on the dips and the dumb money is buying on the pumps. And you're like, well, no, I don't want to buy into Ethereum. Ethereum's old and it's not very good. It's interesting you say that. If you go to this, which is app.artemis.xyz, and you click on the sectors, I believe it is, and you click on the bridges, and then you click on a flow, you get this really pretty looking picture. And this really pretty looking picture tells us something interesting. Now, if you're subscribed to my channel, I talk about the flow of money between one altcoin and other ecosystems and things like that. You can see the money here has been flowing from Ethereum into everything else pretty much. So yeah, Ethereum's going up, but it's flowing into other ecosystems. Typically, we can see from this chart, the biggest winners are Sui, Solana, and Optimism also claiming a bit. Now we can see from Solana, we then have flow going into Sui, Base, Optimism, and Avalanche. And this is really important because Solana is now at $202. If you were with me and subscribed to the channel, you will know that we bought back early last year at around $8. And while I do love Solana, this is one thing that I'm starting to do. I'm starting to take my Solana investment and I'm starting to move it into other ecosystems. It doesn't mean that I don't believe Solana can't go higher. It's because it's hit an alert today pretty much at this level here. Now as we zoom out, we can see why this level is important. Look what happened last time Solana ran into this zone. First time it did it, it pulled back around 43%. After it kind of broke up here, it pulled back and then it dumped into the bear market. So this is clearly a very difficult area for Solana to break through. I'm happy to take profits because I got in at $8, which is an absolutely enormous gain. And I still keep some money into Solana and then I move it into other ecosystems. What were those ecosystems? Sui, and you can see that Sui is now starting to wake up today, which is interesting because now Solana's starting to stall around that price. And clearly it seems like money is now going to flood potentially towards Sui. That's not guaranteed, maybe I'm wrong, but it just looks from the data that this is where the direction is going. Okay, so in my opinion now, I want to take some portion of something that has pumped and move it to something else that is kind of like had its pullback already and it's like nice and calm and start to show strength again as the flow goes into this new one. It's been down 40%, had its pullback, now it starts to look better. Optimism also seeing a good flow of funds from Solana and now finds itself in another area of interest. Look, this is what a buy zone may be like. Okay, I'm not guaranteeing it. Maybe it comes down lower, but you can see last times it's been in this blue box. We've had a big pump, blue box, big pump. It shows that this box is good value. People perceive it to be good value. $3.56 for Optimism. Okay, maybe it drops lower. I might be wrong. If it drops lower, we've got another buy zone down here. Right click, set an alert. Let's see how calm this is. Okay. Therefore, I know exactly what to do because my alerts already tell me. I don't wake up one morning and see that I'm down 30% and then absolutely shit the bed because I don't know what to do with myself because maybe it goes to zero and I'm going to lose everything, rather than being calm. Understanding if we zoom out, we're in an uptrend, it might pull back on us 30-40% one day, who even knows? But we can be calm and adjust as we go. So, coins that have been pumping really aggressively recently that you love and whatever, don't be afraid to take profits on them and move them into other areas. If you're unsure, just keep it in USDT. Okay, so now I've established how to find your buy zones and stuff like that. And, you know, when you feel something's pumped a lot and you've been making good money, that maybe we should have a little bit of a cool off. We can move some money around and we can add exposure to other places that haven't seen big pumps yet. Now we then need to understand that there's other things within this ecosystem that move around. Money flows from chain to chain, like from Solana to Optimism and from Ethereum to Solana and other bits and pieces. But also money moves between various different rotations. You probably saw last week or so, everyone talking about meme coins. That was a rotation that was happening in the different narratives, a word that some people really get upset by. And they're like, why does everyone keep using this word? Because it's so important. Because the narrative is what sells everything. And the narrative I've been talking about for months and months is deep in decentralized physical infrastructure networks. I made videos on Aether. I made videos on Render. I made videos on Peak Network. And as you look into Google Trends, that's been obvious because over the last year or so, it's been absolutely booming. And particularly today, which is the 18th of March, you've got the big NVIDIA GTC conference, which is huge for AI and deep in. And lots of these projects have been booming in towards this particular thing happening. Same deal, look at AI crypto going absolutely bonkers, moving into this particular phase of the market. Therefore, I made a video when AIOZ was at 15 cents Today, it's literally at 91 cents. I've been talking about Delysium, an AI agent that's going to see a huge amount of opportunity and is now starting to see a bit of a cool off into this current phase. And that's really good because I'm pretty sure this is one of the most promising projects in the entire crypto space, but we'll likely continue to see maybe a bit more of a pullback. And when I see a good opportunity, I'm going to bring you a video on that. So make sure you subscribe with the notification bell on. So what? Well, all the deep in and AI projects have been doing extremely well, but the rotations tend to cool off and come to a next time. So personally, am I looking to be aping in, if I'm new, to deep in and AI projects right this second? Possibly not. They will all see much better, bigger upside in the future, but I want to see maybe a bit of a time where they're going to cool off. I don't want to buy into Render after I've seen a big spike towards the upside like this. I want to wait for it to have a pullback like this, or a pullback like this, and then I can feel comfortable that I'm buying in after a bit of a pullback, a bit of a quiet time. If Render pulls back down in towards this zone here at around $10, you better believe I'll go and buy it. But right now it's 30 or 40% higher than that. I don't want to get in. And there is always more coins in the market. When you find out something about Render or whatever, you're like, wow, this is an amazing coin. How do I get into this coin? Like, what's the best price? Stop it, okay? If you didn't get in and you need to ask that question, and you're asking that question because it's already been pumping, just go and find another one. That's what we did with Falla Network. And here, look, Falla Network, we're talking about at 16 cents. Now it's at 28. As I look at it right now, I still think Falla Network is significantly earlier in this road than it is in Render. I do think that we could be spiking up to around 48 cents in the near term and potentially up to around 66 cents. This is the kind of the latter end of the deep in runs. That goes for Falla Network, that goes for Forta, that goes for Numbers, and a few other projects that are in like the disbelief zone right now. So I do feel that with like a lot of deep in and AI projects, maybe, just maybe, and I could be wrong, that after this conference today, tomorrow, maybe has like a little bit of like a cooling moment, maybe kind of money floods in somewhere else. If Bitcoin, however, goes bananas, then maybe everything goes bananas and maybe I'm wrong. But I do think that if I was aping into deep in projects right now, I'd be avoiding the likes of Render. I would be moving towards maybe the Filecoins, the Arweaves, maybe the Falla Networks and other kind of deep in projects that are still sort of in the disbelief. This is accumulation. This is disbelief. Bull market's kind of above the kind of like the $12 it seems for Filecoin. So where should we be moving next? Where is the next narrative playing out? Well, it's very straightforward. If I go to Google Trends and I write meme coin, you can see that meme coin is already damn high compared to where it's been. Okay, that means that the next move from there is down. Okay, so meme coins is not really where I want to be looking right now. Now, GameFi is interesting. Now, because unlike other ones, you can see it has been kind of slowly, incrementally increasing. And it does look high right now, but let me zoom out so we can see something in retrospect. Look at where GameFi is compared to interest over time. Okay, and you can see in the last bull markets, it was insanely pumped. And everyone knows that GameFi is the most exciting and most volatile narrative across crypto. And you have like Alex Becker and Elio Trades pumping their bags and getting everyone excited. And, you know, everyone dives into GameFi. No one's really talking about GameFi right now. Everyone's been talking about meme coins. Then now everyone's starting to talk about deep in and Aether and all this stuff. Aether node sale, guys. I'll leave a link down below so you can enter and find out more information about the Aether node sale coming up, which will be going live tomorrow, live on this channel, where we'll be sat here with the Aether CEO, Mark Ryden, who'll be answering your questions on the particular node sale and how to get into it and make the most of your nodes and how to use them to make passive income over the next 4 years. So GameFi looks right. Hasn't really got exciting right now. We're still, in my opinion, as we look at GameFi in the sort of September the 12th and 18th of 2021. And if we look back to Gala Games back in September of 2021, you'll see that it sat down here doing very little. And then all of a sudden, everyone's like, GameFi, thanks very much. Gala Games goes and rockets. In literally 2 weeks, it goes up and does 9x. If I was new right now into crypto, I would be targeting GameFi and learning about GameFi and all the opportunity within GameFi. You can see that there are projects that are starting to wake up in GameFi that haven't really seen huge amounts of excitement already. Games for a Living has caught the attention of a few, but has yet to kind of get going, in my opinion. Compete finds itself in an interesting buy zone area. Clearly, it's starting to bounce. Although my problem is Compete, they don't really have great offerings for exchanges right now. And if you're still like, well, okay, but I don't really know. I understand, right? I've talked a lot of information in this. It might be a little bit overwhelming. But personally, my targets would be 10% into something like Bitcoin. Maybe 10% into like Optimism. Maybe 10% into Sui, we've just seen, because Solana's flooding into these other spaces. Maybe I'd then have like 10% in like Chainlink. Real world assets gives me exposure to a new narrative, a different narrative. From that, I'd probably then take 10 to 20% and put it into deep-in and AI projects, ones that haven't yet to see much growth. AI projects, auto no last, okay? Awesome AI agents projects, been sort of slow to get going compared to others like Delesium. I'd also then look at Fallon Network, I'd look at Filecoin, Arweave, all looking decent. Now I've got like 30 to 40% left of my overall supply of money. I would keep likely 10-20% in USDT or USDC, whatever you want, so that if we do suddenly get a massive sell-off that no one was predicting, then we can go and ape into all those other coins that we've left allocations for. And if you're like more risky, then maybe you'll leave 10% in your USDC and 20% into gaming. But this is obviously up to you, okay? This is just the way I would do things. How do I find good gaming projects? Okay, CoinGecko.com. And this is what I did with Deepin, okay? I just made it my business to learn everything about Deepin and understand what Deepin was all about. Cryptocurrencies, go down to categories. Number 18, go to gaming, GameFi. And what I'm going to do is search coins are up a lot in 24 hours, but in 7 days aren't really like doing a huge amount. Seer Network, Marblex, Phantasma, Sol. Why have I done this? Rather than if I go for the 7 days, the results are a bit different. This is projects that have been pumping for the last week. Why do we want to get into a project that's been pumping for the last week? Whereas if we go for the 24 hours pump, we can see Seer Network's up 45%, but in the last 7 days, it's up only 12%. So it's suddenly just woken up and is in a much better opportune position. The same goes for Phantasma, 21% up, but in the last week is actually down. Okay, so Phantasma suddenly wakes up after a big dip towards the downside. Let's click on it. And now I'm going to go and find out a little bit more about Phantasma. Now, this actually is a project that I hold as well. Experience the future of gaming, your gateway to Web3. And this is all about how to gamify existing games by developing the tools that allow people to build NFTs on their platforms and all different bits and pieces. You can see non-fungible tokens, built for gaming, all within the right narrative, clearly waking up, got some good partnerships. You can go through and find out more information on this. This is not a Phantasma video, obviously, but there's a lot to know. Most importantly, though, we can see market cap, $31 million, which in the grand scheme of things is small. And what do we see on the chart? Now, I've already drawn this yellow box, and now I've just drawn the blue one. The yellow one is the accumulation zone, obviously, which we've talked about before. And then the blue one is probably where we get into a bit of indecision. Okay, we put a little one up here. Then I'll show you something interesting. You can see our yellow one, our blue one, and then our green one. Okay, so after we get our blue one, we get typically our green one. Okay, nice, right? Now, does it go and pump tomorrow? Don't know. Does it pump next week? Don't know. But at some point, this coin, which is clearly waking up again, it's going to get running. Hope that all makes perfect, crystal clear sense. Choose the narrative. I've just given you the next narrative. I think it's gaming. Go find some games. Go look through here. Find projects that look good. I've made in other videos how to research these in more depth, and I will continue to do that every single day going forward. But narrow it down for yourself. We know the next narrative is likely to be gaming because we checked it on the trends. We know what happens when gaming gets going. It suddenly wakes up and everyone gets excited. How do we find out, who's starting to wake up but isn't waking up so quickly that we're not ready for it? Like Marblex, maybe we've already missed because it's up 74% in the last week. Phantasma, this gives us a nice opportunity. Look, we're looking for ones that have been going down, and suddenly pumping up. Here's another one. What's this? Heroes of Mavia, don't know it. Shrapnel, okay, interesting. Playable games, I don't know many of these, but I'm just looking at these charts right now. Myria, okay, again, these charts that everyone else doesn't want to look at because they're the red ones. Go and look at the red ones. Easy, okay? Do everything back to front from what you're kind of thinking. When you're thinking I should be buying those coins because they're all pumping high, don't do it. Go and look for the ones that are down but are starting to wake up. When everyone's talking about meme coins, you missed it. Move on to the next narrative. When everyone's been talking about Deepin and AI for the last month, you probably missed it. Move on to the next one. GameFi's be quiet. I think GameFi is the next one. In the next video, I'll talk more in depth. I'll go away and find you some very juicy looking GameFi projects, smaller cap, that seem like good opportunities. Hit the like button, subscribe. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.